You look at the human body next to almost any other mammal, and suddenly humans start to seem suspiciously unfinished. A wolf has fur, a bear has fur, a horse has a coat. A chimpanzee, your close relative, is still wearing a respectable amount of natural insulation. Then there is you, mostly exposed skin, a little hair in strange places, easily sunburned, easily cold, and forced to buy jackets because evolution apparently decided your body should outsource warmth to fabric. It is a weird design choice. Fur is useful. Fur keeps animals warm. It protects skin from sun, scratches, insects, and weather. It can hide the body, display health, trap scent, shed water, and make an animal look bigger than it really is. In a world full of cold nights, rough ground, biting insects, and sharp plants, losing a natural coat sounds less like progress and more like a terrible refund policy. So why did your body lose its fur? Why would a primate give up one of the most basic mammal features and walk into the world looking like a nervous peach with tools? The answer is not that humans became weaker. It may be that your ancestors traded one kind of protection for another kind of power. Less fur meant more exposed skin. More exposed skin meant sweat could evaporate better, and better cooling meant a body could keep moving in heat when many other animals had to slow down, hide, pant, or stop. That trade changed everything. Your ancestors were not the fastest runners, the strongest fighters, or the best climbers forever, but they became strangely good at heat. They could walk far, run long, carry tools, search for food, follow tracks, and stay active under a sun that punished fur-covered bodies. The body you have now, the one that sweats through shirts and complains in summer, may be carrying the remains of an ancient bargain. Lose the coat, keep the engine cool, and survive by moving when others could not. Here is the reframe. Losing fur was not simply becoming naked. It may have been becoming better at dumping heat. A thick coat is useful when the world is cold, when the body needs insulation, or when an animal spends more time conserving warmth than releasing it. But if a body has to move for a long time under heat, chase, walk, carry, search, and keep the brain from overheating, then holding on to too much heat becomes a problem. That is where human skin starts to make sense. Your body did not just lose thick fur and hope for the best. It paired less body hair with an extraordinary sweating system. Sweat only cools you when it evaporates. If thick fur traps moisture and blocks air, cooling becomes harder. But exposed skin lets sweat spread, evaporate, and pull heat away from the body. What looks like weakness in the cold can become an advantage under the sun. So the real question is not why humans lost protection. The real question is what kind of protection mattered most. Fur protects against cold, scratches, insects, and weather. Cooling protects against collapse. A brain is sensitive to heat. Muscles generate heat when they work. A body that cannot cool itself has to stop, pant, hide, or slow down. A body that can keep cooling can keep moving. That may be the ancient bargain behind your mostly hairless body. Humans gave up the simple protection of a thick coat and built a different survival system. Sweat, exposed skin, endurance, shade-seeking, fire, clothing, shelters, and social care. You were not made into the best animal for every environment. You were shaped into a strange, heat-managing primate that could survive by staying active when other bodies had to quit. To understand why losing fur might have helped, you have to place your ancestors into a hotter, more open world than the one most primates preferred. A chimpanzee can stay near trees, shade, fruit, and climbing routes. A human ancestor moving across more open ground had a different problem. The sun was above, the ground was hot, food might be far away, water might be farther away, and every step, every search, every chase, every carried tool, every child held against the body created more heat. Heat is not just discomfort. Heat can shut the body down. A large brain is expensive and sensitive. Muscles generate heat when they work. If the body cannot release that heat, movement becomes dangerous. Many fur-covered animals deal with this by panting, resting in shade, moving at cooler times, or stopping when the day gets too hot. But a human body with less thick body hair and more exposed sweating skin could keep releasing heat while moving. That does not make humans invincible. It makes them unusual. This matters because ancient survival was not always about one dramatic sprint. It was often about distance, walking farther, searching longer, carrying food back, tracking animals, moving camp, following water, crossing exposed land, escaping danger without overheating. A body that could stay active in heat had access to a different kind of endurance. It did not need to be the fastest animal if it could keep going when faster animals had to slow down. So the ancient context is not that humans lost fur and became fragile. It is that the body changed the problem it was solving. Less fur made cold nights harder, but fire, shelter, clothing, and group care could help with cold. Overheating during movement was harder to solve with tools alone. Your ancestors may have given up a natural coat because the open, moving, sweating body could survive a world where heat itself was one of the enemies. The evidence starts with sweat. Humans have an unusual number of eccrine sweat glands spread across the body, and sweat is one of the main ways the body loses heat during activity. The key is evaporation. Sweat sitting on skin is not the point. Sweat turning into vapor and carrying heat away is the point. Less dense body hair makes that process easier because the sweat can spread across exposed skin and evaporate into moving air. Then there is the skin itself. Comparative research on primate skin suggests that the human lineage shows a special combination: reduced body fur and expanded eccrine sweating. In other apes, eccrine glands are more limited in cooling role, and fur still covers much of the body. Humans became strange by mammal standards, not hairless exactly, but lightly covered enough that the skin could become a cooling surface. The endurance argument fits this pattern. Researchers like Daniel Lieberman and Dennis Bramble have argued that humans evolved bodies capable of long-distance walking and running, especially in heat. A body that can dump heat efficiently can keep moving when many fur-covered animals have to pant, stop, or seek shade. This does not mean humans outran every animal in a sprint. It means the human body may have gained power through duration, staying active longer under hot conditions. There are other hypotheses too. Less body hair may have reduced some external parasites, made skin signals more visible, or changed social and sexual communication. And clothing matters because it likely came after major body hair reduction, meaning humans probably lost much of their thick fur before they had reliable fabric to replace it. So the evidence points toward a trade, not a simple loss. Human bodies did not become bare by accident. They became better at cooling, sweating, moving, and managing heat in a world where overheating could be as dangerous as cold. The mechanism is cooling through evaporation. When your body works, it produces heat. Walking, running, carrying, climbing, digging, throwing, searching, and even keeping a large brain alive all create heat that has to go somewhere. If the heat stays trapped, the body slows down, the heart struggles, the brain gets foggy, muscles fail. In extreme cases, overheating can become deadly. So the question is not only how strong a body is, it is how well that body can keep itself from cooking while it works. Fur changes that equation. Thick fur is excellent insulation, but insulation works both ways. It can keep warmth in when the world is cold, but it can also make it harder for heat to leave when the body is active in the sun. Panting helps many animals cool down, but panting can interfere with sustained running and breathing rhythm. Humans took a different route. Less dense body hair gave sweat a clearer path to the air. Sweat is not magic water. It cools because it evaporates. When sweat leaves the skin as vapor, it carries heat away with it. Exposed skin makes that process more efficient. The body can keep producing sweat across a large surface, and moving air can keep pulling heat away. That means a human can stay active longer in hot conditions, not because the body avoids heat, but because it can dump heat while still moving. So the mechanism is a trade. Less fur means more exposed skin, more need for shelter and clothing in cold, and more vulnerability to sun and insects. But it also means a powerful cooling surface. Your body did not simply lose a coat. It turned skin into a radiator, and every time you sweat during heat or exercise, that ancient system is doing its old work, keeping the engine running when the world gets hot. So picture an early human moving across open ground under a hard sun. There is no air conditioner waiting at the end of the day, no cold drink in a refrigerator, no shaded bus stop where the body can complain with dignity. There is only heat, dust, distance, and a body that has to keep working. The group is searching for food, following tracks, carrying tools, watching the horizon, and trying not to waste the cooler hours of the day. Ahead, an animal moves faster in short bursts. It has fur, it has speed. It may look better built for the wild in almost every obvious way, but the sun is doing invisible work. Each burst creates heat. Each pause is not laziness, it is the body trying to cool itself. The animal pants, slows, looks for shade, and manages heat as carefully as it manages fear. The human body has its own problem. It is exposed, vulnerable, and shining with sweat. But that sweat is not failure. It is the system working. Moisture spreads over skin. Air touches it. Heat leaves with evaporation. The body does not need to be the fastest thing on the landscape if it can keep moving, while heat builds inside everything else. Step after step, the strange, almost hairless primate keeps the engine from boiling. This does not mean every hunt was a clean story where humans jogged heroically until nature surrendered. Ancient life was messier than that. People stopped, failed, overheated, got thirsty, turned back, and suffered. But the basic advantage mattered. Less fur made the human body worse at some things and better at one very important thing: releasing heat while active. That is the reconstructed scene behind your skin. Not weakness, not nakedness as a mistake. A body under the sun, sweating, moving, and surviving because it could throw heat away, instead of carrying it like a trapped coat. Here is the twist. Humans did not really lose all their fur. They lost the thick coat, but they kept the pattern. Your body is still covered in hair follicles. Most of the hair is just shorter, finer, and less useful as insulation. You are not truly hairless. You are a mammal that changed what skin was supposed to do. Instead of hiding under a heavy coat, the body turned exposed skin into a cooling system. That changes the story. The human body is not a failed animal that forgot to finish growing fur. It is a different experiment. Keep hair where it still helps. Hair on the head can protect from sun. Eyebrows can redirect sweat away from the eyes. Eyelashes help guard the eyes. Body hair may still help with sensation, touch, and detecting insects on the skin. But the thick body coat became less important than the ability to sweat across a wide surface and release heat into the air. The deeper twist is that losing fur made humans more dependent on culture. A wolf carries its coat everywhere. A human has to invent one. Clothing, fire, shelters, shade, blankets, tools, and social care became part of the survival system. Your body gave up a built-in layer, and then your species built replacement layers outside the body. In a way, humans did not simply lose fur. They moved some of their protection into culture. So the strange nakedness of your body is not just biology. It is biology making room for behavior. Less fur helped the body cool. Culture helped the body survive when cooling was not enough. Your skin became a radiator, and your hands learned to make coats. So the next time you sweat through a shirt, complain about summer, or wonder why your body seems so badly designed for both cold offices and hot sidewalks, remember what that sweat is doing. It is not just inconvenience. It is an ancient cooling system turning your skin into a surface for survival. Your body is trying to keep the engine running by throwing heat into the air. Modern life makes this easy to dislike. Sweat feels awkward. Exposed skin burns. Cold weather makes the missing fur feel like a terrible ancestral decision. You need jackets, sunscreen, shade, fans, shoes, blankets, and buildings just to keep the body comfortable. But comfort is not the same thing as evolutionary usefulness. The body you have was shaped by trade-offs, not perfection. Less fur made you vulnerable in some ways, but it also made you capable of something very strange for a mammal, staying active in heat while the skin works like a living radiator. That is the modern mirror inside your mostly bare body. When you run, train, walk under the sun, or feel sweat collect on your forehead, you are not just overheating. You are using a system that helped your ancestors move across open ground, carry tools, follow tracks, search longer, and survive in landscapes where heat could stop another animal before strength did. So maybe the human body is not unfinished after all. Maybe it is specialized in a way that does not look impressive until the world gets hot and the distance gets long. A thick coat would have protected you from cold, but it might have trapped the heat that movement creates. Your ancestors did not simply lose fur. They gained a new relationship with heat, skin, sweat, and culture. And every time your body sweats, it is repeating that ancient bargain. No heavy coat, no perfect protection, but a cooling system powerful enough to let a soft primate keep moving when the sun wanted everything else to stop.